Hello everyone, Tactical Itch here. How's everyone doing? I hope you all enjoyed the no, that's not battle replay. Enjoyed the battle live stream of Human Boy casting Berserk and Butcherbird playing that finals in the League of Extraordinary Degenerates. Today we have a few battle replays from earlier stages in the tournament. I actually didn't watch the final battles in the best of 5 between Butcherbird and Berserk, so let me know who won in the end. But right now we have a few games between Strat and Cegoz for their best of 5 battle. I'm gonna keep the blocker up for now, just so we don't we don't get spoiled by who win which battle. And we'll be going into the thanks Human Boy for raiding me. That is very much appreciated for all the jump in viewers. Now let us just go back into the replays, and I'll be starting the first replay file. Now, I did not watch any of these replays beforehand, so I don't know how they turn out. In this first battle, we have a classic grudge match between the Dark Elves and High Elves. Cegoz going for the Dark Elves, of course, with a Sorceress of Soul Stealer and 4 Cold One Knights, 3 Dark Shards with shields, and 3 Bleak Swords, 1 Black Arquebuses and 2 Witch Elves, 1 Crows of Cain. And do note that this is happening, this happened before patch 4.2, so the Witch Elves still have their rampaging ability, and they can actually lock down cavalry. So yeah, they were taken for their ability to control enemy units, while for the High Elves we have a front line of Shadow Warriors. It's a bit weird to say a skirmishing unit as the front line, but yes, it is indeed the front line. And then we have at the back a couple dragon princes on the right. A couple dragon princes, one on each flank, one of them the Fireborn, and then they're supported by some Illyrian Reavers. Are there any Shadow Walkers here? No, just Shadow Warriors in the front line. And then we have for the leadership Imric himself on Minifnir. I forgot how to pronounce his dragon's name. And then we have the Mage of Metal. Strange to see a Mage of Metal in this matchup instead of a Mage of Life. Oh wait, she's hidden all the way over here in the forest. And that's it for both army builds. Now let's just get the battle started. Alright, cool. As the battle straight up begins, the Shadow Warriors will be gunning for a first shot on their opponents here. Probably off-firing, and very nice juke from the Witch Elves, actually dodging the entire volley, or almost the entire volley, so they didn't really take much damage from all the missiles there, forcing the Shadow Warriors wasting their first volley. Now they're shifting their targets over to these Dark Shards, though Cegoz is constantly shifting his formations around, and that allows most of the shots to be dodged. Now in the front line, Illyrian Reavers and Fireborn slamming into the frontline units of the Dark Elves, while the Soul Stealer Sorceress is coming in, hoping to get a bite onto these expensive cavalry, but the cavalry are quickly backing off, while Imric coming in to deter the Supreme Sorceress of Dark Magic from doing anything shady. At the back there, we have a little bit of a Cold One Knight getting hit by an overcast Plague of Rust, and his armor will be massively debuffed, allowing the Shadow Warriors to do a lot more damage with the Overwatch fire. However, the Shadow Warriors are also get caught by the mobility of the Dark Elves, and now they're starting to take losses, forcing the Fireborn and Illyrian Reavers to come in. Oops, sorry, let me just turn that one off. Forcing the High Elf mobility to come in and screen out the Cold One Knights and whatnot. Now they're starting to take noticeable damage. The Illyrian Reavers are actually straight up shattered from this engagement. Imric diving down to help as well. He did not use any breath attacks so far, so that is kind of a wasted damaging output right here, but he doesn't really have the time and space to casually do that. Plus, the lack of units in the High Elf army in general makes it very difficult for them to continuously screening off all these Cold One cavalry who are just constantly flooding into the back line. Even these ones being rather tattered, yet still they actually managed to come back for a fight with the charge attack boosting their leadership for a second there, and they're just running down the Shadow Warriors. Now these Cold One Knights getting hit by massive Plague of Rust overcast version eating more damage and will be routed off by a combination of Shadow Warriors and the Elven Reavers, while the Supreme Sorceress of Soul Stealer is in the backline of the High Elves here. Gonna be eating some Overwatch fire. This is not exactly great for her because she seems to be having problems working down all these Shadow Warriors. If she's fighting like a single targeting unit, then it's a bit better for her with Soul Stealer and whatnot. But right now, even if she's pressuring the Shadow Warriors, the problem is that she can't. She is just absorbing so much of the arrow fire. She's down to half health. But thankfully for her, she does have Soul Stealer, so she's just casually healing it all back up. The Crows of Cain, though, they're much more lacking in terms of missile resistance and armor. So they are quickly shot up and just straight up died. And once they're backing out of that kind of melee combat, they don't have that kind of self-heal anymore, with the Crow Feast only activating in melee, so they will probably not be coming back. Now the back over here, oh no, the Mage of Metal is being pinned down, and Imrik is rampaged by the Witch Elves. He is not able to get out of there, and I don't know if he can even get out of there alive with 2 more units of Dark Shards just aiming down at him. Balance of power is in the favor of the Dark Elves right now, especially with more healing coming in with Soul Stealer, and Imrik being always under the threat of getting just completely shut down and chased off. This is a bit rough for the High Elves for sure. Though, High Elves do have the power of regrowth. The Mage of Life actually marched out of the forest to get Imrik a bit of healing, but can he actually come back? This is a big question here, as there's nothing to save him from the pursuit of the Supreme Sorceress of Dark Magic. The Shadow Warriors are trying their best to dish out damage, but they do not provide that kind of safety measure to bring back their routed lord. Oh. Stratgames, this is absolute horrible flag colors. Yeah, both are just white in color. But I guess you can still identify them by their HP bars. But yeah, things are not going too hot for the High Elves right now, as their lord is routed. Oh, so close to the white line, and the Sorceress of Soul Stealer is right behind him. That means Imrik is probably not gonna shrug off his routing status and will be chased off the map, and that will just keep put the Dark Elves massively ahead. Yep, he's off the map, massively ahead in the balance of power as the melee units continues to press on against the Shadow Warriors. Yeah, this is pretty much over. Yeah, no worries, Stratgames. Like, have a good day and whatnot. I'm just gonna be chilling for the next hour or so, casting your games. But yeah, at this point, there's only Shadow Warriors left on the field. Stratgames, despite his valiant effort to continue kiting, that is the end of his first game. And the victory belongs to Cegoz in this first battle of a best of 5. Now, this is just gonna be battle replays. Do note that it's gonna be quite quick in terms of this entire stream, because the max numbers of games we're gonna have is like 5, and each is like, what, 10 minutes max? So yeah, we'll be going straight into the second game of the series right now, with Cegoz this time going for the High Elves, actually getting Shadow Warriors this time, versus Stratgames going for Skavens. Now, once again, I do not know what happened in the battles, because I did not check them out before the stream. So yeah, just like you guys, I'll be checking this out first-handed, and we'll see what happens in the game. Now, for the army builds on both sides here, Cegoz going for the High Elves. We have a front line of staunch line of spears mixed in with a couple rangers, perhaps trying to use their anti-infantry bonus to cut through the Skaven chaff. A second line of archers, flanked by some Loven Sea God. And further back, one single Eagle Claw bolt throwers in case they need to snipe out some artillery. This is on Galvaraz, I think? No, this is not Galvaraz. I forgot. Gorgazin, I think this is called. So there are some little concave areas on the map. So those areas can be used to dodge artillery, I suppose. But not that it matters in this game. Anyways, on the far flank, Vanguard deployed Shadow Warriors, and then behind them Elven Reavers. On the other side, also more Elven Reavers for those mobility. In this guys, we have an Archmage of Death coming in with Spirit Leech and Fate of Buna. Very standard stuff there. It seems that AK Claw is already eating some damage from his unlimited power. Other than that, front line of Clan Rats mixed in with Clan Rat Spears, and are there any Skaven Slaves? Doesn't seem like so. On the flanks, a couple more Rat Ogres. They're supported by a Packmaster, of course, with the running with Pack providing healing. And then at the back there, we have a ton of Poison Wing Globadiers, 4 units in fact in total. Yeah, that's it for the army build. Now let's just get the action going. Now the Larry Reavers are maneuvering on the flanks, but not actually doing anything right now. While the Red Ogres will be held back for now, because they don't want to get too far ahead and get shot by Shadow Warriors or the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers or the Archers. So Clan Rats will be moving up first to eat the shots from the Archers, or perhaps the Poison Wing Globadiers will be eating the shots. Either ways, Poison Wing Globadiers, one of them will be immediately targeted by the Fate of Buna, and a kit will be countering with the Flensing Ruin, trying to do those direct damage trading. Though it definitely seems that the Fate of Buna is more devastating to the Poison Wing Globadiers than the Flensing Ruin against the Archmage of Death. On the flanks there, the Clan Rat Spears eating a bunch of arrows, which is just fine for the Skavens, since they are just a cheap chaff unit, and they can just use that to waste all the ammo on the relatively expensive Shadow Warriors. While the Illyrian Reavers are constantly around to just screen out enemy mobility, the Red Ogres per se, though they do expose themselves to the rear charge from all these Red Ogres. Yep, this Illyrian Reavers are not going to hold on for too long. Anyways, Clan Rats clashing into the High Elf front line. One of the spears got hit by the Poison Wing Globes and will be promptly routed, while on the other side, the Red Ogres just slamming straight through the Rangers, now getting straight on top of these Archers right here. The Loven Sea God will need to switch targets over to the lightly armored Red Ogres and try to work them down, while the Spearmen hold the line. And unfortunately, though, it seems that one of the Archers has been shut down. It's eating a Spirit Leech and some point blank fire from the Archers, but he'll be tanking it for now. While on the back here, some of the Larry Reavers actually managed to get on top of these Poison Wing Globadiers, flanking all the way around the back. But the heavy armor on the Poison Wing Globadiers means that they are not taking as much damage as other missiles would be, and they will be holding on for now, continuously chucking out their Poison Wing Globes and working down the spears. One of the Rangers managed to cut down the Clan Rats, and they need to go back and start fighting the Red Ogres, because the back line of the High Elves are getting compromised. The Loven Sea God, though, did manage to switch their targets over to some poor Red Ogres, and the Red Ogres are getting shot to pieces. They need to be reactivated and moved somewhere else away from the Loven Sea God. Now, the Skaven infantry push seems to be going pretty fine, as they manage to secure some of their Poison Wing Globes and start dishing out damage against the Loven Sea God. It really needs to start pressuring some of these Shadow Warriors, perhaps, because he's just sitting here not doing too much. At the back there, Illyrian Reavers will be maneuvering away from the Packmaster and Red Ogres, trying to get the hell out of there. Actually, they're just getting caught, so never mind. They will be stuck in melee against the superior melee combatants. A Brass Orb going down the Archers, doing some nice damage, while these Loven Sea God actually terror-routed by a kid's Doomwheel, and the Clan Rats will be hunting them down. Another Flensing Ruin against the Archmage of Death, but unfortunately, it seems that overall a kit is getting the worst end of this direct damage trade. Archmage of Death still taking some damage, but the fact that she is in disguise makes her pretty much invincible other than the Flensing Ruin, because there's nothing on the Skaven side can really threaten her other than the really short-range Poison Wing Globadiers, right? So she just needs to keep away from the Poison Wing Globes and she'll be safe, other than just eating shots from the Flensing Ruin, I guess. But then again, AK is eating a bunch of Spirit Leech as well, so he's not doing too hot either, especially with Archers blasting him with Archer Fire. So Packmaster, of course, will be jumping into backline and shut down, even terrifying these Archers. Oh no, it's just a normal route, so very unfortunate for the Archers, as the Spears were not able to bail them out of the sticky scenario. Red Ogres and Clan Rat Spears continue to push back the High Elf Archer line, and this time they managed to threaten the Shadow Warriors as well. Some of these Archers managed to regroup and now will be shooting into the fray, especially against the Red Ogres. That would be pretty nice, but of course the Packmaster is providing healing to surrounding Clan Molder monster, and the Red Ogres will be mitigating some of that damage with healing. However, Ikit is getting lower and lower from all those Spirit Leeches and the use of unlimited power on himself. So things are not looking too desperate for the High Elves. I mean, balance of power, of course, is in the favor of Skavens, but it's not over yet for the High Elves for sure. They still manage to have some units at the back. Oh, never mind. Some of these Red Ogres manage to get onto some regrouped archers, and will be probably routing this one unit off before they themselves being shot up by the other overwatching archer. Oh, things are getting a little bit dicey for the Skavens here, as Ikit is getting so close to the white line, almost gonna get routed. If he gets routed so close to the white line, he might just go off once and for all, but here comes the Packmaster trying to save his Liege Lord, and he does manage to threaten the Archmage back into the skies. So the Archmage was not able to keep her pressure onto Ikit Claw, and this Flensing Ruin might just put her into routing territory. There's still some archers around, but I don't see how they can work down the Packmaster other than just fighting him in melee with spears. Actually, I forgot about the other Packmasters. They are double Packmasters, and things are possibly impossible, pretty much impossible for the High Elves pullback, I'm afraid, as the two regenerating monsters with Terror is just really nice in the late game. Though Ikit is actually routed from some regrouped Eagle Claw Boltthrower managed to shot up Ikit Claw. So Ikit Claw might just head off the white line, putting everything on the Skaven end into immediate rout. Maybe not. The Red Ogres are still healing. Still healing? Lord Fled recently does give him a -16 leadership debuff, but the two Packmasters already dropping down to considerable dangerous leadership territory. But okay, they kind of stabilizing right now. But another Spirit Leech going down the Red Ogres, chipping away their hit points, while the Archers and Loven Sea Gods trying to reform and shoot. Oh, this Packmaster is dangerously low in leadership. And oh, out. That is a pretty big hit from the Eagle Claw Boltthrower. Oh, and the Packmaster is wavering as almost full health. Oh, the pain of Skaven in this in patch 4.1.4 these days. Oh, back in the day, not these days. But yeah, the pain of being a Skaven. Still almost full health. Oh, they're almost approaching heal cap. Oh, leadership is dropping for this Packmaster. -3 leadership. He routs. If the Archmage of Death comes in and keeps the pressure on, then yeah, this Packmaster isn't. Oh no! Both of the Packmasters are gonna rout. Oh, the pain of being a Skaven. Oh yeah, and the Archmage of Death is just free to just dive down and chase off the Packmaster. This guy is probably coming back. Oh no, everything is routing on the Skaven's end. 3/4 health on this one over half health, so 60% HP, and this one is just gonna go off the map. Oh, the pain. Oh, this one stabilized his leadership and came back, causing the Archmage to just nope out of there. That was a clutch regroup, because if he keeps routing, it might just be army losses for the Skavens. But either ways, this Packmaster held on as well, just came back and start fighting, and encourage some of these Clamorous to rally and return into battle. But of course, they are just merely chaff for the Packmaster to use as meat shields. And while the Packmaster worked down the cavalry in there, this Packmaster not feeling too hot with all the archers around him. Lovency got this one only with one remaining volley, but there's still some Eagle Claw Boltthrower around. But the archers are terrified, so they have stopped shooting. On the far side here, the Ilarian Reavers and Rangers are routed. So if they actually get terrified off the map, things are looking a little bit better for the Skavens. But yeah, Stratgames really need to win this one, because he is 1 round behind on Cegoz right now. Like, if he loses this one, then it's gonna be match point. So yeah, he really needs to just win this round and keep the pressure on to Cegoz. But yeah, right now things are not looking too great for him though. There's only one Packmaster who is trying to grind it out. The other Packmaster has reached heal cap. Got some pretty nice kills, but not able to earn back their value. And the Archmage of Death is on the far side chasing down the Packmaster. Now the Packmaster is jumping straight into melee combat against the Eagle Claw Boltthrower. Oh, but there is another unit of archer rallying on the far side. Oh no! Yeah, it kept routing early in that game was very concerning for the Skavens. Because now the Packmasters are constantly getting routed. This one got routed again. Temporarily disrupted the Eagle Club for it, but once again he has been pushed off by the Archer 5. But good news is that the other Packmaster regrouped. So it's a constant push and pull on whether the Packmaster can come back. Like, Packmaster tries to push, but actually wait. The High Elves keep pushing back the Packmasters, but then they just keep pulling back because the High Elves don't have enough mobility asset to keep the Packmaster on routing. So yeah, the Packmasters just keep coming back and terrify stuff away from the High Elf side, and the High Elves are running thin on troops as well, so they don't exactly have the mass or speed to keep the pressure up onto the Packmasters. Now this Packmaster being on the lower end of the health, well, he has been routed off, pushed away by some Archer 5, but these archers actually got routed and shattered by the Packmaster just being near them. So this is really bad news for the High Elves, as they don't have any good ways to kill off the Packmasters now other than grinding them out in melee. Thankfully, Packmasters aren't exactly the greatest infantry killers, but this might be bad. Archmage of Death going very gutsy, diving on the Packmaster, actually routing him, but she also puts herself into melee distance against the Packmaster. Though the Packmaster is having some targeting issues, not actually hitting the High Elf Archmage. Another hit comes in, misses, this one actually lands, and the Archmage of Death might just be terrified and routed. Oh, she got straight up killed. Oh, this is bad. As the High Elves are now, everything is going to be wavering on leadership, especially with the terror from the brute horror of the Packmaster. These Loven Sea God might be healthy, but with the leadership penalty of their lord being dead, they might just get terrified in this late game scenario and get routed. Thankfully, the High Elves do have sturdier leadership than the rest of the Warhammer factions, so they are holding on for now, but how long can they hold? Their leadership is fluctuating pretty hard, sometimes dipping into the 20s, even lower 20s occasionally. So, yeah, how long can they hold? That's a great question here, especially Packmaster still being relatively healthy. Thankfully, he doesn't seem to have the most regeneration left. Actually, he heal capped, so what you see is what you get on the Skaven side, but the problem is that the Packmaster is free to chase off any routed units that are not shattered, while the High Elves simply struggle to keep up with the brute horror. I guess at this point, there's really not much the High Elves can do other than just wait for the brute horror to come back and fight them. And at the same time, they need to keep their formation cohesion for the whole time. Like, if the Packmaster just circles around these Rangers who are not exactly well supported and flank them, they would just immediately get terror routed. Especially they're so exhausted. Yeah, they're just straight up shattered on the charge. Oh, everything just terror routed away because that Ranger unit routed, and it probably led to a chain rout. I think these flags are a little bit I had my nightlight on. Let me just turn that off. Which is why I couldn't really discern whether things are wavering or not. But anyways, let me just turn off the nightlight. Alright, cool. We're back. Yeah, army performance is a really good game from Cegoz and Stratgames. Really, really close action there. Like, the High Elves was so close to winning, yet so far away because the High Elf Archmage was so low on health. She couldn't commit to chasing off or commit into melee pressuring the Skaven leadership and snipe out the Packmaster and whatnot. One of them carried the game, the other absorbed a lot of damage. Ikit, as always, a very solid lord. And yeah. So, a lot of damage. And yeah, call out the High Elf 2 games in a row. High Elf must be S tier. This is not necessarily the case because we are watching games on patch 4.1.4. So these are outdated stats. I just rolled back into the previous patch so that we can cast these games normally. Now, for the rest of the Skaven army in this game, the Red Ogres did some pretty, like, they didn't do the worst, but also didn't do the best. So it's like an eh. While the Poison Globadiers, one of them got Fate of Buna, so nothing for them. The other ones got okay damage overall, and the Skaven infantry, not too much damage, mostly just buying time for the rest of the Skaven leadership to do all the work. Now for the High Elves here, we have a bunch of archers doing all the work pretty much. Shadow Warriors did some very solid damage. Loven Seagull, one of them did spectacularly. The rest of the archers also did okay. Not the best, but also not the worst either. It's mostly the Shadow Warriors kiting and shooting, I suppose. Rangers is a bit disappointing in general. You're probably better off just to get spears to hold the line, but yeah. Of course, High Elf, Archmage of Death. Those direct damage spells are very devastating. Just draining away the health of a Kick Claw. Just in the end game, she doesn't really have enough gas left to deal with the two regenerating, heal capping Packmasters. Alright, let me just put up the blocker again so that we go back into the replay files. Game 3! Guess what? We're looking at Skavens again. Oh boy. Oh, 3 games and like we only see the same 3 factions overall. This time it is the Skavens versus Dark Elves. Oh god, it's a rock, paper, scissors of High Elves, Dark Elves, and Skavens. I wonder what next game is gonna be, now that all 3 factions are used up. Skavens must be S tier though, in that case. Skaven S tier asks for special ed. They do have some special needs in leadership department though. Alright, cool. Now let us look at the army builds here. Cegoz is going for Skavens this time. We have a front line of Skaven slaves. Second line of... oh, this is a Skaven melee rush with a bit of kiters. Okay, anyway, Skaven slaves in the front line. Second line of modern monsters. 4 red ogres, one of them the pit fighters of Hell Steep. Not Helm Steep, but... pit fighters of Hell Steep. And then it's a couple wolf rats with poison. Probably not expecting too much of heavy cavalry. Because if you go for poison, you don't have as much armor piercing. If you get the regular version, you have more armor piercing, but without the poison. Anyways, in the front, there's a ton of Night Runners and Gutter Runners who are not too shabby in melee either. So they can probably just fight and kite, and eventually wear down whatever light cavalry that tries to chase them. Leadership-wise, of course, is a Kick Claw guarded by a Packmaster on his Brute Horror. And a Kick Claw coming in with Brass Orb, Unlimited Power, Warp Lightning, and Cleansing Ruin. Very standard load out there. For the other side of the battlefield, we have the Dark Elves, a front line of... interesting. It's a bit of a concave formation. The Dread Spears on the flanks and Big Swords in the middle. Not sure what Stratgames is trying to pull over here, but very interesting deployment. Probably trying to surround the Skavens who will try to be rushing, or they'll be trying to surround a Skaven box. I'm not sure what's happening here. But yeah, 3 Witch Elves at the back. Remember, we're on patch 4.1.4, so the Witch Elves do have their rampaging effect intact. And on the flanks, we have the Dark Riders and a couple Manticores in the skies. Crows of Cain for that very cost-efficient flyer melee unit. And then in this... ooh, Barathli, Power of Darknessing herself. I guess she does have healing for herself, so it doesn't really hurt as much by hurting herself for extra magic. A kid doesn't have that kind of treatment though, so yeah, whatever damage a kid takes from Unlimited Power, it's gonna be permanent and it will leave a mark on his HP bar. Anyways, there are a couple Cheese Runner Chariots. I mean, they're not as cheesy these days, so Scourge Runner Chariots, let's just call them that. Scourge Runner Chariots, it seems that they are aiming down at the Night Runners. Not the most efficient use of their missiles, honestly. They need to be aiming at the Red Ogres, but I guess they're doing some noticeable damage, so it's not the worst trait in the world, especially... oh, these are just Night Runners, though. These are not Gutter Runners. They need to aim at the more expensive Gutter Runners, but alas, they're just working down the Night Runners for now. And just not generating the most value, but I guess they'll have to work through these missile troops either ways, so there's that. Anyways, on the flanks, Skaven skirmishers are pressuring the Dark Elf mobility, who will be retreating behind the shield walls of the Dread Spears, who are less susceptible to all these missiles. Dark Elves pushing forward, a little bit of a brass orb on top of the expensive Witch Elves doing some nice noticeable damage. The Crows of Cain took a lot of shots from all those gutter runners. Oh, one thing to note is that these are regular Night Runners and gutter runners. They don't have slings, so that means they have less missiles in general. And wasting shots into Dread Spears is not exactly the best case of use for them, but not that they have any other good ways to use their missiles, now as the Dark Elf infantry continuously screening them away from the more valuable targets. Witch Elves taking noticeable damage overall from the Brass Orb, but they will be held back for now, while the Dread Spears and Bleak Swords just eating shots for their more expensive sisters. And yeah, it's a bit of a kiting phase. Oh, AK just charged straight into the Dread Spears, who are getting worked down by a ton of missiles. And the Dread Spears are terror routed for now. Another spell coming in. Actually, it is a cast of Warp Lightning and will be blasting away some of the Bleak Swords. There are no cavalry. Good news for the Skavens though, there are no cavalry in the vicinity, so they don't have to really worry about getting pushed. I mean, no heavy cavalry, so they don't really have to worry about getting pushed hard on the Kiters. Anyways, oh, actually, now that I think about it, Scourge Runners are going for a gutsy charge into the fray, but also eating a ton of shots from the Night Runners point blank. Though the Dark Riders following up will be persuading the Pit Fighters to move back, especially with the Feral Man going nearby. It's a bit of a trading in favor of the Skavens for now, as the Dread Spears have their barracks turned against the Night Runner and Gutter Runners, taking a lot of shots without the shields mitigating those shots. They'll be quickly terror routed by an overload of Skaven units. Motor Monsters and Ikit himself on Doomwheel will be plowing straight through the Dread Spears. The Skavens have managed to deal with most of the Dark Elves' anti-locks. The two other Dread Spears are too far away to help, while all the Skaven units piling in, forcing the Witch Elves to blob up, and a ton of AoE spells are dropping in. Witch Elves getting hit hard by all those Brass Orbs and Warp Lightning. And on flank there, the Dark Riders have been pushed back by the Red Ogres. The lone Manticore cannot deal with so many monsters right now, and they're being grounded by the Red Ogres. Morathi is not engaging in any kind of combat whatsoever, providing any help. So her debuffs, the Heart Stealer sword? Oh, she doesn't even have any of her items. She's just coming in as a Soul Stealer caster. And Melkov's caster. And things are not looking too hot for the Dark Elves right now. Both Dread Spears on the left flank has been routed. The two others on the right flank, one of them is pinned, and the other is moving in to support, but things might be a little too late now, as the Night Runners continues to wrap around after they broke that left flank of the Dark Elves. And yeah, they continuously pushing, this time flanking into the back of the Witch Elves. These Night Runners ran out of ammo, but they can fight in melee. 24 attack, 22 melee defense, as they are buffed up by some additional melee defense from the strength and numbers. They are decent melee combatants after all, and they'll just pile in onto the Witch Elves using their numbers, strength in numbers, to work down the Witch Elves, who are relatively squishy. So yeah, the Witch Elves are taking noticeable damage through the sheer numbers, the quantity over quality of the Skavens. After all, quantity does have a quality on its own, and all these Bleak Swords, Dread Spears, Witch Elves are all taking very good damage. Especially the Packmaster is in the mix, hunting down the Feral Manticores and the Scourge Runner Chariots. Especially the Scourge Runner Chariots, one of them has been routed, and I don't think there's anything in the vicinity that can secure them. Crows of Cain re-engaging into battle, but the Gutter Runners will be holding on. 26 attack, 28 defense, plus poison. Yeah, the Crows of Cain are not doing too hot right now. The Bleak Swords are still fighting, but one of them is on wavering territory. These Witch Elves are terrified by a nearby Brute Horror. The Manticore is in the vicinity fighting, but this Dark Elf build, unfortunately, is more equipped towards fighting a Skaven box build, and versus a Skaven semi-rush build like this, yeah, this is not exactly doing too hot, because a lot of the funds, like 1,600, 1,700 gold, was dumped onto the two terror-causing Manticore, who doesn't really do much against this kind of rush build, where like the Skavens just use sheer numbers and Red Ogres to run over the relatively fragile Dark Elf front line, and everything just don't really hold on, and got crumped. by the Skavens. And yeah, Balance of Fire is more and more against the Dark Elves now that the Manticores are also running low on health. Quite a few Skavens are terror routed or just straight up routed, but it doesn't really matter right now. There are just too many Skavens and Red Ogres for the Dark Elves to deal with only a single Manticore. I mean, they're doing some good damage to the Rampage Packmaster here, but yeah, they're very blobbed up with only a single tiny pocket of troops left. These Witch Elves are still fighting with 100 HP left with 5 unit models. Morafli, oh no, a Flensing Ruin coming in, and everything on the Dark Elf side will be hit. I guess other than this Feral Manticore, but that doesn't really matter as, yeah. Most of those remaining support of the Dark Elves are gone, or they are on the way out. So it pretty much is just Morafli and the Manticore left. That's army losses, and that shall be game. Well, not game yet. We still have at least one battle left to look at. Maybe 2 if Stratgames manage to win the next one. But anyways, this will be the victory to Cegoz with his Skaven rush build. Red Ogres didn't do that much damage, but it could claw with his Flensing Ruin, man. Oh boy. He didn't even take much damage throughout the course of combat, because there's not much to threaten him, right? Like, the Scourge Runners are being pushed back by the Red Ogres and the Wolf Rats, or just Skaven Slave screening. The Packmaster took most of the punishing, while Ikik just rolling through all the routing Dark Elves, just really using the terror from Ikik's Doom nicely from Cegoz there. Really good application of the War Machine. For the rest of the army here, we have some Wolf Rats doing alright. The Night Runners and Gutter Runners did surprisingly well. Not really value-wise, but more like the effect on battle-wise. They're doing really well, actually. Providing fire support to whittle down the Dark Elves on the flanks, and then once the Dark Elves are weakened enough, then the Red Ogres, yeah, Shigidigi, Strat was definitely expecting a box with the double Manticore build. But yeah, once the Dark Elves forces are weakened enough on the flanks there, he committed the Red Ogres and Ikit himself to just bulldoze their way through the now fragile Dark Elf flanks. And then the Night Runners at the same time can provide some kind of infantry support for the rest of the modern monsters. And in the end was managed to just overwhelm the Dark Elves in sheer numbers. Even the Night Runners, Gutter Runners going into melee, that was just fine for the Skavens. As for the Dark Elves, yeah, the double Manticore didn't actually earn their worth here. One of them almost did, but the other did very minimal damage. Their terror were more useful in breaking boxes, terrifying weapons teams and whatnot, but there are no weapons teams in sight in this game. Very nice build from Cegoz, as Stratgames was not expecting this kind of melee rush strategy. The Witch Elves got outrushed by the Red Ogre plus Skaven Slave combo, so they took a lot of damage in the mix, while the Scourge Runner Chariots didn't really have the optimal targets to shoot at other than Red Ogres. So yeah, things were not too great for the Dark Elves of Stratgames, as the Scourge Runners just got like pinned down by Red Ogres or pushed back by the Skaven mobility. They were not able to break up boxes with their charging, basically. And yeah, Crows of Cain didn't do much in this game as well. Even if they dive into the Night Runners and Gutter Runners, they would just get shot at and fought back, counterpunched by the decent melee combatants, and the rest of the Dark Elf infantry is painful. They just got rolled over by a bunch of Red Ogres, basically. And yeah, Morafli didn't do much either. Like, she would be great, she would be decent into a box because she does have a relatively small unit model, and she has enough speed to dodge missiles, dodge Skaven artillery and whatnot. But in this case, like, the Skavens aren't even bothering with targeting their missiles towards like cost-efficient target. They just need to dump out all their missiles at something and then charge in with the skirmishers while the Red Ogres finish off the job, along with a Kick Claw doing most of the damage. Anyways, next battle. This is match point indeed. We'll see if Stratgames can pull this one back, or will Cegoz win this once and for all. So yeah, we will see. This is game 4. Cegoz is 1 game ahead of Stratgames with a Beastmen versus Lizardmen fight. This is, again, before the patch 4.2 update, so there are no buffed up Kroxigor rush yet. The Kroxigors are still normal. They don't have the Spawnkin thing buffing them up. They don't have the Predatory Fighter. They have Primal Instincts, but yeah, no Predatory Fighter. And also Primal Instincts only activate at like what, 25% health? So yeah, it doesn't really work as well as they do these. Oh, I know, it still activates at 50%. So, but yeah, still like the Sauruses and no, not Sauruses. The Lizardmen army is not as good as the Lizardmen these days. This is patch 4.1.1, 4.1.4 after all, and yeah. Anyways, this is game 4. Cegoz 1 point ahead of Stratgames. This is match point. If Stratgames wants to stay in the series, he has to win this game. Otherwise, it will be the victory of Cegoz. And yeah, let's see whether we can prolong the stream. For the Beastmen army build, we have a front line of Ungor Herds, a second line of Ungor Raiders, and then a fourth line of Minotaurs. Very simple army build here. Ungors, Minotaurs. Melee Ungors, Missile Ungors, Minotaurs. And then on the flanks, there are some Cegoz hiding in the bushes and 1 Vanguard deployed all the way on the other side of the map. So there's also a Great Brave Shaman of Wild Magic with only Traitorkin from Cegoz there. For the other side of the battlefield, for the Lizardmen, Skink Skirmishers in the front, a second line of Saurus Spears, third line of Skink Cohorts with Javis, and then further back another Skink Cohort with Javis. Oh, there's one more Cegoz in here. And this is Pillar of Bone, so there is always a possibility of Vanguard deployment, trying to flank around and whatnot, just like here. So this is probably why the Skink Cohorts are facing backwards. Same goes for these Feroco ones here. 2 more Feroco ones over here. And oh, some Saurus Spears, and yeah, that's basically it for the multi-entity units. For the single entities here, 2 units of Stegodons. These guys with their super blow dart up, like, oh, these are just ballistas. All right, poison ballistas at the back, and a single Slime Age Priest of Life. That's it for the army builds. Slime Age Priest of Life, of course, with Regrowth and Earthblood, and basically the whole 9 yards of tools and abilities. Now, at the back, the Centaurs immediately getting spotted by the Feroco ones, and will be pulling out of that hiding bush. And because they're Centaurs, so they don't really need to get worried about getting caught up by the Feroco ones, because Feroco ones are really slow for a cavalry unit or a mobility unit at only 70 speed. Anyways, in the front line, Skirmishers unloading blow dots into the Ungor Herds, who does have shields, so they will be able to mitigate most of those shots, while the Javelins are moving up. Oh, the Ungor Raiders are going to take aim and start unleashing their bullfire onto the skink formations. I don't know what, I'm not sure what the skinks are moving up for, because the Ungors are just going to pin them down, and they can't actually get in range of shooting the Ungor Raiders. The problem might be these Minotaurs, though. They do have shields, so they can mitigate some of those skinks blow dots. Though the Stegodons are sliming straight in, routing off these Ungor straight up. But the Minotaurs are tanking the missile shots with their shields and are pressuring the Skink Javis. And because the Skink Javis pushed up instead of hold back to throw out their Javelins, yeah, they were not able to use up their missiles to their advantage. While on the flank, there are Centaurs jumping into combat and are trading not the best, but still decently into the Centaurs, while they are pinning down some of these Skink missiles. Again, Skink Cohorts with Javelins for some reason pushed up, and they were just dragged in melee instead of using up their Javelins against the good targets. Over here, Feroco ones pinned down by Centaurs, and Butchers of Kalkengard are in range. With their terror-inducing attributes, they can easily just break apart these Feroco ones and whatnot. Stegodons are fighting, but they're surrounded by Minotaurs with great weapons, and these Minos don't actually have infantry support surrounding them, so they're taking a lot of damage from those great weapon Minos. A little bit of a regrowth is needed, but it might have been into the wrong target. Oh, this is a big mistake here. Regrowth onto the healthier Stegodon. I guess it's healing regardless, but some of that might just be wasted. Anyway, Saurus are pouring into the mixture here, trying to work down these Stegodons, and they are indeed doing some pretty good work, but oh, this lizard box is largely compromised. This lizard box is largely compromised, as a lot of these King Skirmishers and Javelins are constantly being pushed back, while the Stegodons are not able to use their missiles mostly. Now it is basically devolved into a massive blob fight for the Lizardmen here, as the Skink Skirmishers are now being pushed back. Some Javelins regrouped on the far side, but once again they just was not able to use up their missiles efficiently. And the Stegodons are surrounded by a ton of great weapon Minotaurs. And the Angkor Raiders are just unloading missiles into the fray, just fine for them, as the Lizardmen lacks the mobility to pressure this Beastmen backline. On the flanks there, the cohorts and skirmishers are being pushed back by all the Minotaurs and the Great Brave Shaman of Wild, while the Slime Age Priest is getting lower and lower in health. He needs to use up more of these Blood Statue and Banishment, but of course I assume they're on cooldown right now. Butchers of Kalkan pulling back, still having 14 models, so a lot of space for regeneration and healing, while the Lizard Saurus support is running thin, and the Angkor Raiders are just continuously unloading into them. Even with their shields and 60 armor, that's not gonna hold on for too long. Like, they're so low in health, and the volume of fire really adds up with all these cheap 400 gold missiles. 450 or 475, forgot. But yeah, it's a cheap missiles that are just winning out of sheer volume. So as these guys are still relatively healthy and fighting, but the Stegodons are, one of them is running out of gas, and the Slime Mage desperately needs to get some healing for himself as well. So whether the Slime Mage will allocate the healing to the Stegodon or himself, that is going to be the big question here. But one Saurus might not be enough to deal with so many Minotaurs with great weapons, as they're running low. They're running low in health as well. Abundance of power is in the favor of the Beastmen, very noticeably in favor as well, since the Brave Shaman is still very much healthy, and the Beastmen still have a lot of these missiles left. Butchers of Kalkan Guard still having 13 unit models surrounding and beating down the Stegodons. Although I do think the Abundance of Power might be a bit drunk right now. I don't know. Like, the Lizardmen aren't completely out of it just yet, but I guess one of the... Okay, where is the regrowth? The regrowth... Oh, these are Earthbloods onto the blob here, trying to sustain the hit points of everything around them, but oh no, the Slime Age Priest is terrified. He does not have any immune to psychology, and once he routes, that led to a chain route of the Stegodon as well. Saurus are barely holding, but then the terror from the Butchers of Kalkan Guard kicks in. Only the Stegodon remains, and because the Beastmen have that mobility advantage, they can easily chase off everything that gets routed on the Lizardmen side, and that means the final Stegodon, despite being so healthy, will be hit by army losses. That's gonna be it, and that is the final game of the series, as Cegoz takes the third win in this best of 5, allowing him to move on to the next stage in the League of Extraordinary Degenerates, which, well, just so happens the finals in the series. I'm not sure if it's the final game, but definitely the finals. Wait, that's the final games? I think it is, right? Okay, anyways, has been over. Basically, the League of Extraordinary Degenerates has been a tournament that went on for quite a long while, and yeah, that's basically it. But yeah, this is a game that happened like weeks ago before patch 4.2 even dropped. So yeah, it's a replay series that I picked up and I need to cast. So I need to showcase everyone the close and tight action that these top tier players have. And yeah, very good game from both Cegoz and Stratgames there. Especially the previous game between the Skaven and the High Elves, the second game of the series. Really recommending you guys to check it out if you missed that. And yeah, as the army performances wise, we have the Butchers of Kalkan Guard doing really solid damage, and then of course the Traderkin cast from the Brave Shaman doing solid damage as well. For the Minotaurs, they didn't actually do that much damage. Most of that damage is done by the Brave Shaman, and some of these. Oh wow, these Raiders, very cost-efficient missiles for sure. Most of them earning back their value, one of them earning double their value. So very solid stuff. And the Cegoz just overloading the flanks, but more importantly, chasing off every single routed unit of the Lizardmen. And the Lizardmen doesn't exactly have the best mobility, since the only notable thing about the Feroco ones is that they have good armor, so they can tank more damage. But other than that, they don't really do that much in a melee fight, like against other mobility units. So yeah, they can hold, but they can't dish out damage. They just don't have enough unit models, and without any units to support them, yeah, that was a very bad. That was a very that was not the greatest engagement for them. I do think like one of the bigger mistakes of Stratgame in this game is pushing up the skin cores with Javis, and because those javelins got pushed up, they got quickly disrupted and was not able to dump their javelins onto the Minotaurs with great weapons that are closing in. So the Minotaurs, when they jumped into combat, are still relatively healthy and was able to just beat down some of these Stegodons. And yeah, the Angors were chaff, so don't really have much to talk about on them. As for the Lizardmen here, Stegodons unfortunately didn't really earn back their value. I don't know if Stratgames checked the map, but Pillar of Bones is a very small map, and artillery doesn't exactly have the best time on this map, since it is easily they're easily ambushed by Vanguard troops, or simply just get rushed as their opponents march through the middle of the battlefield. There's just less space for you to like shoot as an artillery. So yeah, Sauruses, they did okay, like not the best. They're shielded, so they cost like what, 800 gold. So yeah, they did fine. There are a lot of Minotaurs and Cegoz for them to work on, but the Feroco ones really didn't do much here. And the javelins, they didn't even get to throw most of their javelins. Same goes for the skirmishers, who didn't really manage to use most of their ammo, and Slime Mage Priest doesn't have that much role in this battle either, unfortunately. I guess the Blood Statuette can be good against the Centaurs, but the Banishment on the cheapest of infantry is not going to generate that much value. And yeah, this is going to be the end of this stream. It's pretty fast, not going to lie. After all, wait, how long was this stream? 54 minutes, okay. Yeah, it's a pretty quick stream after all. We only have a best of 5 that ended in 4 games. But yeah, either ways, GG to both Cegoz and Stratgames. Very good games from both players. Very close games in some of them as well. And definitely some nice action to see. And I hope you all, viewers, I hope you all enjoy this quick stream of Best of 5. And that's gonna be it for today. Human Boy does have another new player stream incoming in a few hours. So if you're free, or if you're still awake by then, depending on your time zone, do go to his channel and check it out. That is it for today's stream, today's battles, and I will see you in the next one. Tactical Lich, signing out.